Hello, good afternoon all. So, as I have told in the in the last session, that is, we have to go for discretization of given continuum. So, how we are going with that discretization, that I am going to tell you now. So, just I will open my PPT. I will share my screen. So, this is the PPT for finite element method. You can download it from SlideShare also. So this is the basic theme, but the topic which required to explain that I'm going to explain it now. So the FEM. As I have told you before, the finite element method, the structure to be analyzed is subdivided into a mesh of finite sized elements of a simple shape, and then the whole structure is solved with quite easiness. So this is the rectangular body and this is the circular plate. So these are the finite sized elements. Let me open the actual PDF which I wanted to open on the link itself. Okay, now I can show better in this. So in finite element method, the structure to be analyzed is subdivided into a mesh of finite sized elements of a simple shape. Just I have given an example of Thanos and the face in the previous lecture. That face was having the triangular shape, that is right angle triangle. That is square is divided into two parts, and that square is when divided into two parts, it will become right angle triangle. It is there are two right angle triangles into this. So likewise, we are going to define finite sized element. This is the rectangular body and this is the circular plate. Then finite sized element. The rectangular panel in the rectangular body and the triangular panel in the circular plate are referred to an element. See in this figure, the rectangular panel here is shown, that is called as element, and here one is the circular plate, which we can call it as a finite element. Now, there are one, two, or three dimensional elements. The accuracy of the solution depends on number of finite elements. The more there are, the greater accuracy. So, according to according to the element size, shape, or other format structure, the element types are divided into mainly categorized into three types. That is 1D, 2D, and 3D. So, we are going to see in detail. That is finite element of a bar. If a uniaxial bar is a part of structure, then it is usually modeled by a spring element. If, on, if and only if the bar is allowed to move freely due to the displacement of whole structure, one-dimensional element. See, in this figure, the one-dimensional element is there. So I will annotate. So annotate here. So here the direction is this one. Suppose one direct dimension figure is there. This is the structure, this is string element which is shown. Direction is 1D. So one direction, that is x direction. No y direction is there. You can't observe here y direction. You are going to observe only x direction. So it is usually modeled by a string element if and only if the bar is allowed to move freely due to the displacement of whole structure. That is one dimensional element. See why I am telling this, because there are some conditions for considering every element. It is 1D, 2D, or 3D. Accordingly, we are going to categorize the given structure into our finite element. So I will move towards next slide. These are the types of elements. Now, first of all, let me tell you, if any bar is there, so I will simply search on the net. You can do it such a type of trial and errors. Okay. Now I will see here. I will type here beam element. So I will go for better the images. So there are some beam elements which is shown. There are the structures. See, in this beam are having some kind of cross sectional area. Here 3D beam example model. There are some real life approaches also. I section B. We are observing in daily basis. So you can see in my last video, if you have seen, then you will get it. Some real life approaches I have shown, but that are to be downloaded from net itself. So if any model is there which is 1D, 2D, or 3D, then how we need to categorize? We have to categorize it. That I will tell with the help of this text. If one direction is very greater than another two directions, then it is called as one dimension. Then second one, if two dimensions of a figure x and y, let me say, are very greater than third dimension, then that is called as 2D. And if x is quite equivalent to y, is quite equivalent to z, which is visible and we can measure it, we can see it, and we can model it in 3D way. So that is called as 3D element. So these are three types of elements which we are going to study. So these are the three elements. Now the first in the first previous slide we have seen in the previous slide we have seen the spring structure is there. So the condition is mentioned here, that is if and only if the bar is allowed to move freely due to displacement of whole structure. Okay, means bar's free movement is necessary for this case, but this is considered as a one-dimensional element because we are giving only x and y and z we are giving in the form of cross-sectional area. Now let's move towards the main part. That is, x is greater than y and z and y and z. So accordingly, y and z directions we have to mention it in the terms of cross-sectional area itself. If the x and y dimensions are near about same and they are very greater than z, then it is called as 2D. For example, I will say the plate. Now we will move towards next part. This is the bar that is 1D. Now this is 2D, that is triangular element and rectangular element. So this is 2D element. So this is called as 2D element. So triangle and rectangles are there. So it is having x direction and y direction. So you can observe here. I will draw with the help of some arrows. So this is having x dimension, and this is somewhat having y dimension. This is also having x and y, same thing, but this is having x dimension, y dimension, and z dimension. No matter what, it is positive z or positive negative z, positive x or negative x, positive y or negative y. But that are the directions which we have considered for hexagon. So these are the types of elements. So if we have to consider any plate as an element, then it should have very small thickness. So I will tell the differences between these three in these slides also itself. That is, the first slide shows the spring element. Means what? It is having only direction. It is having only one dimension, and it is having some cross-sectional area which is uniform. Now, secondly, I am explaining you repeatedly why, because this is the basic, very basic concept. Then next one, the triangle and rectangle. So triangle is having two dimensions similar. Means in spring element we are having only one direction, one dimension. But in this triangle and rectangle we are having two directions. But when we are going to consider these as the two directions, when the uniform thickness of that element is there, and that uniform thickness should be having very less dimension than that of any two other. Means x and y should be greater than the third dimension. And the next one, hexagon is there. So in hexagon, X, Y, and Z are quite measurable and quite comparable to each other. So these we can consider as a 3D element. So these are some types. Now node. The points of attachment of the element to other parts of the structure are called as nodes. The displacement at any node due to the deformation of structure is known as nodal displacement. Now see here, in this structure, first structure, we have we have this node and this node. We are having the two nodes. That is, according to our definition, we are having the two nodes. Okay, in this figure. So I will again annotate. That is, this is having one, two, three nodes. This is having again one, two, three, four nodes. Then this is having one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight nodes. So these all are having some kind of nodes. Now we will move towards our definition first. That is the points of attachment of the element to other parts. So in this, the nodes which I have shown now, that are the attachment to the other part. So that are called as nodes. The displacement at any node due to the deformation of structure is known as nodal displacement. That is, suppose this figure is there and this is having some structure. So we will consider this as a structure. Then this is having one, two, three, four, five nodes. But it is having three elements, that is three triangular elements. So three triangular elements means one triangular element has one, two, three nodes. Means suppose I will consider this triangle, then this triangle is having three nodes, and that three nodes are connected to this triangle node. So these are the common points which you are observing now. So these are nothing but the points of attachment of the element to the other part of the structure. So these are called as nodes. In this, these are also called as nodes. But structure is completed. To complete the structure, the every corner point we can say it as a node, because structure is every structure in the universe is combined structure as per assumptions, and that combined structure we have to connect to each other. So that connectivity should be there. So you can't say that this is having these endpoints are not nodes. These endpoints are also connected to some structure, so that we can go for calling these structures endpoints also as nodes. Now next one. By FEM. Simple trusses can be solved by just using the equilibrium equation. But for the complex shapes and frameworks like a circular plate, equilibrium equations can no longer be applied, as a plate is an elastic continuum, not the beams or bar as a case of normal trusses. Means if simple truss is there, just now I have given example here itself on net. So on internet it is showing some examples that is simple beam is there. We can analyze such type of beams. but beam are having complex shapes. Suppose any beam is not have any beam is having very complicated shape and the structure like this. Okay, no matter what it is uniform or not uniform, but this is the structure. And on this, some parts are relied, some parts are kept on it. We'll consider, but we need to analyze this below structure. So this type of structure we can't analyze with simple calculation. We have to go for the FEM. So for that purpose, we have to divide this given part into number of elements. So I will divide this. I will divide this. I will divide this. So I can divide this. I can make it as a rectangle. I can make it as a, again rectangle. This will be triangle. This will be again all rectangles. So likewise, we can discretize the given structure into number of parts, the shapes which are known to us. As I have told, the shapes which we can analyze, we have to divide the given structure into that shape itself. If this is 2D structure, then we can go for this kind of 2D element, that is triangle or rectangle. But if it is 3D structure, then we have to go for hexahedron, tetrahedron, then pyramid. There are many more shapes. So which we have to study in this FPL. So simple stresses can be solved by just using the equilibrium equation, but for the complex shapes and frameworks like a circular plate, equilibrium equations can no longer be applied. So for complex shapes, we can't calculate anything, so we have to go for FEM. So hence, metal plate is divided into finer subdivisions elements and each element is treated as the beam or bar. Now stress discussion at any point can be determined accurately. Now, by the help of FEM, simple bar analysis. So this is the simple bar. Yes, this is the point which I am going to tell you. The simple bar is having some area. This is the bar which is shown, and this bar is having some area. It is having some length. It is having some E, that is Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity is same. So it is having something and which can be calculated. Since any bar is modeled as a spring in ATM, thus we have F1, that is force applied to the spring, then X1, X2, and K. X1, X2 are the displacements. Actually, we are considering it in FEA. X1 and X2 are the displacements. F1 and F2 are the forces, and K is the stiffness of the spring. So we have to just analyze this simple one. So let's suppose that the value of spring constant is K. Now we will evaluate the value of K in terms of properties, that is length area of the bar, that is F is equal to Kx, that is K is equal to F by X. Also, stress is equal to sigma equal to F by A, that is F is equal to sigma A. So strain is equal to epsilon, that is X by L, that is X is equal to epsilon into L. So this is the simple bar analysis we can do easily in hand calculation. So now this is the simple strength of material or solid mechanics we can say. You can refer the SOM notes for this. So this is the formula we have obtained. Now substituting the values of x and f, the base equation of k we will have k is equal to sigma a upon epsilon l. That is stress into area divided by epsilon into l. But this we can say, this we can modify also. But Young's modulus E is equal to sigma by E. So K is equal to AE by N. So this is the main point. In exam, it will not be asked definitely because it is very basic thing you have learned it in some. But the things which I need to brush up from you, that I am brushing. So K is equal to AE by N. That is the basic formula which you will need as a basic form for the stiffness matrix calculation or any kind of force matrix or any kind of answer space and scale obtained. in the given structure. So next one, f is equal to k into x1 minus x2. So according to the diagram, see in this diagram, f1 is equal to k into bracket x1 minus x2. So here k into bracket x1 minus x2 is given, where x1 minus x2 is actually the nodal displacement between two nodes. Okay, so as I have told, x1 and x2 are the displacement of that node, but x1 minus x2 is the difference between the nodal displacement. So if we have to consider the force, calculate the force one, according to our formula, F is equal to Kx. So I will type here the basic formula. F equal to Kx. If F is equal to Kx, then force. Force required to, so I will remain that formula as it is. Now here, it is F is equal to Kx. So F is equal to Kx means force is equal to this force F1 equal to K spring thickness into X. But this X is not sufficient because this X is influenced by this X2 and F2. So we have to consider that is x1 minus x2, that is the nodal displacement. You might have learned it in dynamics of machinery also. Otherwise, you will learn the new concept in that. So this is the basic concept behind this. Now, next one, F1 is equal to, that is the simplification of bracket. Similarly, force we can calculate as x2 minus x1. That is x2 node, second node is influenced by first node also. So we can calculate the nodal displacement at those that node, and we can calculate in a similar way. Now, for further simplification, F2 is equal to k into as further simplification is done. Now, this equation which I have highlighted, and this equation can be written in this matrix form, or F is equal to Kx. So that is the formula which I have told you before, that is F is equal to Kx for simple things. So this is the formula we are going to use in FE. Here Ke is known as thickness matrix. So uniform material framework of bar, the Rydberg thickness matrix would remain the same for all the elements of bar in the FEM structure. So this is the simple bar analysis. Now further extension. So further extension means F1, F2, F3, the three forces considered. So similarly, for two different material bars are joined together, we may write F1, F2 with a similar way. We can write that is minus K1, minus K2. That are the calculations which I will let you know at the time of numerical solving actually. But as this is the basic class, so I am telling only the basic things which what we are going to do in FPA, or what we are going to learn in CAD/CAM automation, that subject. So I am telling the basics of that only. So this is the further extension. Now these are the some problems. Another problem, that is analysis K1, K2, K3, and values are given, and it can be calculated by this way. And complex structure, the last one. The last one analysis, complex structure. Complex structure is contain the material continuum and subdivided into the elements. As I have told before, complex structure should be divided into number of small elements and are analyzed on the computer. Software packages are available for the determination of thickness matrix of those structures. Yes, I'm going to teach you the software which is required for this kind of analysis. Some software packages also allow virtual subdivision on the computer as well, as that is computer automatically analyzes the shape and gives the stress strain value at any point of the structure. Likewise, suppose we have to go for hyperlink, then we have to mesh it thoroughly. It can do atomic, but it will give some errors or some larger big elements, or you have to give some inputs. But if ANSYS, it will go atomic and it will do very fine mesh and it will directly calculate space and strain value if we are going inputting it in pre-processing or any if you are asking for solution of it. Example. Suppose this is the structure and this is complex structure and this is the APM structure. So inclined bars. Inclined bars are always analyzed by resolving problems into their x and y components. The value of inclined angle is always known and their components are evaluated. Yes, yeah, for inclined bar it is well. Three-dimensional structures involve three-dimensional element that is labeled with three dimensions, that is length, weight, and thickness. Then next one, importance. FEM has become very familiar in subdivision of continents. It gives reliable and accurate results if the number of elements are kept greater. Modern computer technology has helped this analysis to be very easy and less time consuming. Large structures under loading are now easily solved instead on each and every part are now being determined. So you can go for this. This is the PPT by Sheikh Haris Zia, Ibrahim Azhar, Muhammad Ali. So this is courtesy by them. But just I have downloaded due to lack of time. I have made this video. So this is beam element real life examples. You can go for searching the analysis of chair in analysis. So it will show simple analysis. So how to find the examples? I have told you to find the examples. Some of you or most of you might have copied and pasted, but this kind of analysis are done. So, but before that, you can go for checking meshing of chair in X. So, see, you can observe here. There are some elements. Yes, this is the chair. You can see. So, for that purpose, we need to analyze how the person is sitting. Then, we need to go for what is the height of that person from the bottom. We need to check at what height person can sit comfortably. We have to consider all the aspects of that person. We have to consider the overall weight of that person, and we need to go for modeling in such a way that the chair should not fail. We have to choose the material. Yes, this is the model done. Then model after that the meshing is done. After meshing, the analysis are there. Analysis is there. But before that, we have to go for very important aspect, that is boundary condition. So I will tell in short the basic procedure. That is first one, modeling. Second one, meshing. That is our FEA, which I am teaching you now. Modeling, meshing. Third one, applying boundary condition. Fourth one, defining the results. And fifth one, solution. This is the main part. Sixth one, interpretation of the result. But this all is possible when you can go for design of any object, means EME-1 and EME2. Then we can go for comparing the stress in this. We can go for comparing the allowable stress coming from these calculations of any material and the stress from ANSYS. So if these two values, that is this value and this value, which are nearer, but this stress from ANSYS should be lower than allowable stress, then we say that this model is good and we can go for ready to manufacture. But this is the assumption at basic level because you are at basic level. So I am telling you very, very basic things to clarify. So this is very basic thing which I am telling you now. But when the question comes to analyst, then he has to go for very, very deep process, and in that in that analysis, the analysts should go for studying the component, studying the material, studying the density, studying the loading condition, and various models are having various types of conditions. So thermal conditions are there, which I didn't tell you now, but these are very, very basic things which I am telling you. So keep in mind and stay tuned for next videos. So I hope that you have got all the things. If any query is there, you can ask me. Thank you.